Hey everybody, Dylan Distraction here, coming to you live from Batlantic Studios. Thought I'd do a quick back to the drawing board, talk about comic books, show you what's on my drawing table, and let you know Nuke Force is on Kickstarter right now. Can we unlock the first stretch goal? I don't know, it's up to you. Thank you so much to everyone that's backed the campaign, checked out the campaign, shared the campaign, and grabbed an original art reward level. What I'm working on today is drawing some of these original art pages, so that there'll be original art pages to give to people when they back the campaign for an original art reward level. So here we have Major Grit getting punched out of the Nuke Force Tower on Nuke Force Island. I haven't come up with a better name than Nuke Force Island. Radioactive Island. The Nuke Force Tower and Radioactive Island. Something like that. I don't know. I'll figure it out. It's funny because when you do the scripting at the end, you don't have to really decide what the text is going to be until you do the lettering. So it's like, what's the text going to be? It's like, oh, I guess I can have it be whatever I want. So sometimes I won't do a lot of the, obviously I don't do any of the dialogue. I got an idea what they're doing. I know what they're going to be talking about. But things like Nuke Force Island or Meltdown Monkey, like I'm still, as I'm drawing, I can be flexible enough to change and adjust and have fun with that sort of stuff. So I do want it to feel like a classic comic in the way that they would have like fun names for things. Like Kryptonite is a fun name for something, or what's that? The Power Cosmic, right? Like these sort of fun ways of referring to unexplainable, magical, fantastical things. The Ultimate Nullifier. I always love that one. Like, oh, it's ultimate and it nullifies? Nice. I mean, it is the Ultimate Nullifier, so it's ultimately going to nullify whatever you're pointing it at. So I love that sort of stuff, so I'll come up with something silly for Nuke Force Island. I like Nuke Force Island. It tells you what it is and where it is. It's an island. It's an island off of the futuristic city I've created. So, like Avengers Mansion or the Watchtower. Ooh, the Watchtower. Watchtower's a good one. That's Justice League's floating satellite, the Watchtower. I do like that. Need something like that. It needs to be radioactive sounding though, like beacon or lighthouse. Beacon, lighthouse, something like that. Maybe the Nuke Force lighthouse. Yeah, that's true, because there's like a lighthouse. All right. The night lighthouse. Nice. I love when I come up with stuff on the spot. So yeah, thank you so much to everybody that's checked out the Kickstarter campaign. Thrilled with the progress. I realize now we're funded, and so that it might be a reason that it slows down, but I would hope that people still want to jump in and back the project. I've already started talking with some collaborators to be able to bring them into the Distraction Comics group. So that's going to be great. That's going to be really fun. I think people are going to kick out seeing my work drawn by other people. So if you are a writer who wants me to draw for you, grab the Distraction Comics reward level. And if you want to write a Nuke Force story, this is really your chance to get published and have your stuff drawn by me. Hopefully that's something you're psyched about. I realize that's, maybe not everybody's cup of tea, which is fine if it's not something you're psyched about. But yeah, no, it's not for everybody, but I think it's something I would have loved when I was, being able to have something that I could work collaboratively on. I've done it. I did a variant cover for Final Boss from my good friend Tyler Kirkham, my good buddy Tyler Kirkham. And I always say that. I got my close personal friend. He doesn't know who I am. He does, but it's not like tight, but I wish him the best, but I don't talk to him all the time. And so being able to have something where it's like, yeah, I worked with him, like that was really cool. Got to work on something with him, do a cover, got copies of the cover. It was great. So hopefully the opportunity to work on something like that with me is something you're excited about. Great. Grab it, grab that reward level, and let's go. So working on Meltdown Monkey here, trying to remember what he looks like. I have been tough because working on the Kickstarter takes up a lot of mental energy and time. It's just posting and talking about it and shooting videos. It takes up time. So it's always a bit tricky to try to stay motivated to create. But I really love the Nuke Force stories I'm doing. So it hasn't been, they've come really smoothly. Like sometimes I've worked on projects where I've wrestled it and I'm like, how's this gonna go? Really, but with Nuke Force, everything's really felt very organic and natural and been really fun. So I hope that Nuke Force is something you're excited about out there, because I'd really love to keep making it. And if the response is positive, that'll really help, because it's like, oh yeah, people like this, they're into it, cool, awesome, cool, that makes sense. I can keep focusing on this. If it's something where people are like, meh, I'm not super psyched about it, I don't get it, that's tougher. It's tougher to devote the time to it if it's just not feasible to the people who are interested. I'll blow my nose off. I felt a little bit of my head cold. Oh, congested. I feel great. It's another reason it's hard to stay motivated. Hard to stay focused on creating when you feel a little under the weather. So, but no problem. I got this. No problem. So, Meltdown Monkey looks like that. This is Pump Station. But if you know my work, if you know Nuke Force, you know who all these guys are. And I'm hoping to get these pages finished up in the next few days, but we shall see. We shall see. I'm not really sure what the rest of my week's gonna look like. One really nice thing, knowing that I'm digitally inking everything, I don't have to worry about like finding my ellipses templates. Be like, that's gonna be digital. I know that I'll be able to do that, no problem. But again, this is just the blue lines. I'll go back over with graphite so that does look cool on the final art when I get it to somebody. All right, that's that. So I guess plenty of room for dialogue there. I want to have this a roar. So his mouth should be open. I like doing hand lettered sound effects. I hadn't done them much initially, and then once I started putting them in, I was like, oh man, that's the way to do it. Hand lettered sound effects are on everything. Just looks so much more like part of the artwork. I was doing like digital sound effects, like trying to find typefaces and stuff, and that just doesn't interest me. I'd much rather do it like this. I think it looks nice. I think it kind of goes with the art better. Roar. Cool. All right, so now we just gotta pencil all of it. All right, sweet. That looks good. We've roughed in where things are gonna be. I got a good idea where everything's gonna be. So to pencil it, using, thank you so much to Pacific Arc and U Brands and Stadler. Gonna be, so I will do is I do like, so this and that. And then if there's any shadow areas, I'll give like a holding line like that. Right, and then fill with that. Although this one's a little sharp. I like them a little duller than that. There we go. Cool. All right, percent effect is over here. All right, so that. And I don't want to graphite everything, mostly the figures, because if I go in and I like say I want this sky to be black and I just dump a bunch of graphite in there, it doesn't matter. It won't look right. I prefer to do that digitally later on. Cool. All right, looking good. And now I should like snap my fingers and be like 10 hours later and it's all done. Right. If only it were that easy. Everybody do it. All right. So who's everybody got for the NBA championship? Nobody? Anybody care? No? All right. So books I'm going to show off tonight. I have a fun little selection of books. Dylan's Traction Show. We have X-Men Days of Future Present, X-Men Visionaries, Neil Adams, and Uncanny X-Men Annual Hardcover. So let's go through these because they're fun for different reasons. So this X-Men Annual Hardcover, it's the same on the front and the back. It says Marvel on the, and it's in pounds. So I'm guessing this is some sort of a European import. The fun thing about these European books is you find artists you haven't seen before. Like I've never seen that pinup before. That's obviously Art Adams. But the other fun thing about this is just how pronounced the moire pattern is here on these classic colors. And it's almost like they took Arundel Street, London. It's almost like they took the old comics and just scanned them and then brightened them, because this is the classic coloring techniques. This is all those Ben-Day dots, right? The magenta there, the straight yellow, 75% yellow, skin tone that's just, the brown, oranges. So if you were ever looking at something like, oh man, the green, like this is just the green you can make, right? Those two different variations of green, the darker skin tones, the standard pink skin tones, which is just magenta and yellow. I love all this stuff. I love how it's just out of register slightly on some parts. And then how you can just do like a little bit of a holding there where, right? And it really relies on the inks to be substantial, which is why you couldn't do a lot of really thin inking, because you look at things like these face or the details here in the face, you couldn't see it. Like this really frail inking would just get smooshed out on newsprint by this coloring technique. So I love this reprint, because often what you'll find with some of these reprints is that they'll, on this nicer paper, is that they'll recolor them. So to see this classic coloring on this nice paper really shows you a lot of the detail. Yeah, look how out of register that is. Like the blue and the magenta plates just slide all over the place. Right, like, love this stuff. So when I'm coloring stuff, I'm looking at this because it's amazing how this classic coloring, it doesn't detract from the experience. It's a limited palette, but everything you need is there. It really blends well with the inks, I think. And I love John Byrne, obviously. I love John Byrne's work, so seeing his work with this classic coloring stuff just looks so great to me. Great Hulk. So then after that John Byrne issue, ooh, Wendigo, classic. And then they just have a pinup of Wolverine like randomly thrown in. All right, but you see here, like just solid yellow. They drop in solid magenta. And that's 100% yellow, 100% magenta on his jacket, on Nightcrawler's uniform. And then that's like a 50% blue, 75% blue over the yellow. And then just this blue, 25% blue here around Wendigo. And then 100% magenta in the text. All right, so 100% blue on his hair and his tail. And that's it. In the box, I don't know. Yellow, 100% yellow. Boy, what would I do for that? 50% blue, 25% magenta would get you something like that. And then over here, these are more modernly colored. And again, I don't know who this artist is. No idea. And then there's some story or something. And then we go back to classic. And again, I don't know who that artist is either. And then we go back to classic John Byrne with classic coloring. Magenta sky, right? The purple. Magenta sky, yellow sky. I do that all the time. Like, people think like, oh, you have to keep a consistent background so people know where they are. It's like, no, you can have the sky be yellow and then pink and then brown and then blue and then pink again. No one gets confused about that. Everyone knows that's where they are. And it helps to give the panels more visual interest if you kind of add some different, like here, it's orange because he's angry. It's pink because he got hit. It's yellow because he's using his blasters. It's purple because he's picking up a car. You can have them kind of add to the flavor. The background is green. The background is pink. The background is blue. The background is yellow. We know this is seconds apart. The colors just help to add to the storytelling. So I don't think that it detracts or would deter someone from being able to read it efficiently and effectively. And then again, we have another artist who I'm not as familiar with. You know what? This could be like, who's that? Who did Death's Head? Liam Sharp? Could be like an early Liam Sharp, maybe, because it's British. I'm going to give Liam Sharp credit. I don't know. He came over pretty early in the U.S., but I don't know. If anybody knows that signature, let me know. So that's a fun one. If you ever see it, grab it. And then these are two also fun ones. And again, Days of Future Present and Neil Adams, Visionaries Neil Adams. These are older trades. So back in the day, older trades would be on this textured paper. And this was printed in 1991. That sounds about right. So an earlier trade. And the nice thing about this is, again, classic coloring, right? This first artist here, Jackson Geist, Butch Geist, who just passed, sadly, did the Fantastic Four story in here. Terry Shoemaker did the New Mutants. John Bogdanov did X Factor. Art Adams did Uncanny X-Men. So Butch Geist, yeah, incredible storyteller, incredible artist. This is some of his earlier stuff, but it's fun seeing him try to do like a Kirby. But yeah, no, Butch Geist was great. Gone too soon. And then Rob Liefeld, New Mutants cover. This is annual number 1, 1990. Terry Shoemaker, Chris Wozniak. I was always a little bummed when when they had someone other than Liefeld doing New Mutants. You know, because you get Liefeld on the cover and you're like, yeah. And then you see this and you're like, that's cool, but different. But again, classic coloring. Magenta, cyan. Not a lot of variety. And then a color variety. And then John Bogdanove, who I loved at this time. And then he did, of course, he bounced back and forth doing like Extinction Agenda and then Death of Superman. And he was great on Death of Superman too. His character just looked so cool. Yeah, I'm a fan of him for sure. Very great cartooning, like that stuff right there, just so good. And then Art Adams at the end here. Obviously Art Adams, hugely influential. But seeing his stuff with this classic coloring, you know, like, it's neat. Like this, like we're just going to use straight magenta. We're just going to use straight cyan, right? Like, I don't know if you get away with a page like this in a modern comic. We're going to do everything with solid magenta. Hear me out. We'll add a little bit of cyan to make it look like there's some color in there. Straight up magenta, and that's comic book coloring I'm going for. If it calls for it, if it is required, straight up. And it's cool to see his version of Cable too. Yeah, pretty great. So that's a great one. Then this one, I love Neal Adams. I love his place in history. I love his work. And I love some of these early trades. So this is an earlier one. And it shows a good mix of his Tom Palmer inks. Can't beat that for Neal Adams. I mean, this stuff just blew people's minds when they saw it. It just was, I mean, like pages like that were like, what? He was just pushing the boundaries. But it's cool to see it with classic colors, right? So I'm always looking for these older trades with the older classic colors. I just like them. I like how they look. I like how they feel like holding a see, this is weird because it's painted. But seeing his work with these classic colors, just such dynamic pages. Ooh, and there's some pencils too. Penciling, that's what I'm doing. I'm just like Neal Adams. Oh yeah, right. Just like Neal Adams. Me and Neal Adams. Yeah, pretty good. So those are fun. Thought I'd show those off. Some John Byrne, some Neal Adams, some John Bogdanove, and some Art Adams, the Adams boys. Hopefully you enjoyed that. And I know I did. I love looking at that stuff. And really, it's fun to do, like, book time. What am I calling it? Book it? No, book it. No, book time. Read a book. Open a book. Comic, show and tell. I don't know what I was calling that section. That segment of the Dylan Distraction show has a name. I can't remember what it was. Read a book. So yeah, I like doing that because it helps me to get and stay inspired, because anything you can do to just kind of fill your brain with cool stuff, it really helps. And then you just set it aside and try to get some work done. All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for checking out Nuke Force on Kickstarter. Can we unlock the first stretch goal? Can we unlock 2 stretch goals? 3 stretch goals? I don't know. Right now, we're close. If you grab an original art reward level, one of these drawings could be yours. You also get the printout. I'll send you a bunch of other stuff, too. So go right now. Kickstarter, Nuke Force on Kickstarter. Okay, thanks. Bye.